Hi folks, Tim here, and welcome back to From 8 to 38, the Chronicles of a Young Entrepreneur. Today's discussion, we are going to go over logos and name recognition. Now, logos, I'm going to attack first because I'm wearing one right now. I'm wearing my Elmendorf landscaping gear. So everyone who knows me knows that I'm wearing my hats, my shirts, stuff like that all the time. So we wear pocket tees most of the time. I've got the EL logo right on the very front. Now, many times people will do something, I would say, a little less original, where they'll say Elmendorf Landscaping and a picture of a mower under it. Well, that's kind of just run-of-the-mill. It doesn't seem like you really put any thought into it. So Abby did a great job. She helped me design this logo the way the Elmendorf and the landscaping intersect, the E and the L combined together to make our logo with that tree. So that's our logo, and it's on all of the front of our pocket tees, all the front of our t-shirts. It's on our sweatshirts. It's on our polo shirts. I have it on my hat. All right, that's our logo. EL with the tree. Nothing fancy, but it's very distinctive. So when you see that in the distance, you know it's us. And the other thing we've done is we've got Catskill Morning Maple. Now that is our maple syrup business, and you'll see the logo here, but it's got the C on top with the M and an M, and it's made to look like a mountain range. So very distinctive, and the slogan for that is "Wake up to a taste of the Catskills." So we really put some thought and effort into designing these two logos, had some help with them, and Abby did a great job. My other buddy helped me with it a little bit. He did a great job. And that is really, really important. So along with logos, I want you to just kind of walk through the store with me. So let's say we're walking through your favorite hardware store and you happen to see this battery, right? Now, when you're in the distance and you see the black and red, instantly my mind goes to Milwaukee Power Equipment. Right there, you're Milwaukee. Now let's say that you're out at a restaurant and you see that very, very classic red sign with the white lettering saying Coca-Cola. You know what that is. You don't even have to read it. As soon as you see that logo, you know what it is. The same with Pepsi. It's got that circle with the red, the white, and the blue in it. You know that. You don't have to see it, you know, or read it. You know exactly what that is. So logos are really, really important. Another one that's becoming really popular is that little silver T right on the front of all these cars going around. Those Teslas. Again, name recognition and a logo. Another one that's real popular, at least around here, is Starbucks. There's a Starbucks in Kingston. It's got the green circle with the lady in it. That's a very, very common logo. Another one that all of us should know is this one right here. It's on the front of every one of my trucks. But it's the blue oval. It's Henry Ford's famous signature, right? The interesting thing about a logo is just because you pick one doesn't mean you're stuck with it forever. So Henry Ford changed his logo 3 times. This is the 3rd design when they finally came up with, you know what, we're going to go with Henry Ford's signature. Now over the course of, I guess, the last 115 years or so, I believe they've changed the logo in some way or another 7 or 8 times in the last 100 years. Just small design changes. But this was his 3rd try. This was somewhere in the early 1910 to 12 range. That was when they went from the logo that they had then to this one. And again, it's changed a little bit on it around over the years. This is now the oval. It was not always an oval shape, but that's what they kind of went with. In the landscape world, we have some very, very distinctive logos. A lot of them are on the wall behind me. Behind me, we've got steel. Steel that's black and orange, right? The black, orange, and white, that's your steel. We know that. When we see it, it just screams steel. You can look across the store and know, oh yeah, there's a steel display over there. The other one, which is really cool, and I actually did a little research on this today before I made this video, is the Husqvarna logo. Now, interestingly enough, the Husqvarna logo came about in 1689 when Husqvarna was manufacturing muskets, and they were stamping that H with the crown on it for Husqvarna on their musket barrels. So here, as we are looking at our Husqvarna, this logo has not changed very much over the last, 330 something years. So this logo's been around for over 300 years, and it has not changed very much. Another logo that we are really familiar with in the landscape world, at least here at our business, Elmendorf Landscaping, is, and I've got their clock, Exmark. So Exmark's logo is the big X with the circle around it, right? That's their actual logo with the name. Not fancy, but it is very distinctive. You know, as soon as you look at something, you see that logo, you're looking at Exmark. So, and there's so many different designs. There's so many different things you can do with a logo. But like I said, don't do something real simple where your logo looks like everybody else's logo. You know, John Doe Landscaping with a lawnmower under it, it just doesn't look real professional. Try to find something that ties your name together with your business. Now, our business name, it's not real original. Elmendorf Landscaping, I mean, that could be Jones Landscaping, Smith Landscaping, whatever the case may be. But because we tied it together with that E and the L, that logo really pops. So it's one that people in the area are seeing more of. And we've got our trucks lettered, we've got our dump trailer lettered, we've got hats out there, we've got shirts out there, we've got some lawn signs, just a few. But when we do a big job, I like to put a sign out that says, hey, this is the company that is doing this job. And if people like what they see, they can call the number on the sign. And if they don't like what they see, they're not going to be calling. So it's a really good advertisement. It's a good way to get your name out there a little bit. And that's the other thing I want to talk about is name recognition, brand recognition, right? Again, back to that red can with the white lettering. That's Coca-Cola. It's something to drink. It's brand recognition. So you see that, you know you're going to have an ice cold Coca-Cola. So one of the things that we've been working on over the last few years is brand recognition and name recognition. So by having anyone who works with us, by giving these shirts out to our friends and family, it's a name that goes out there a little bit more. And when you're looking at bidding some larger jobs, you're not a no-name company. They may never have really heard of you or dealt with you before, but somewhere in the back of their mind, they say, oh, wait, we've seen that logo somewhere. So it's nice to have the hats, the shirts, the trucks lettered. And I mean, that's a whole different discussion. Legally, we have to have the trucks lettered with the DOT number. But getting the name out there, real important. So by having that name out there, people might not always remember it all the time. So one of the things that we did is a couple years ago, we started putting our name on the front gate of the Ulster County Fair. Now, the Ulster County Fair is not huge necessarily for county fairs, not always the biggest one, but they get a pretty good turnout. Now, this year, I think somewhere in the area of 50,000 people walked past our banner, and they saw the Elmendorf Landscaping name. It had our name, our phone number, how long we've been in business, just a couple very simple things, but our name was front and center. It was big. So another thing we did to help push name recognition is we started sponsoring different events in our county and, believe it or not, surrounding counties, because people travel. So at the Ulster County Fair, we had our banner on the front gate, but we also had our banner in the horse ring, and we sponsored the kids' garden tractor pulls. We sponsored the truck pulls. We sponsored the antique tractor pulls, and we sponsored the Gymkhana. So we sponsored 4 different events. They put our banner in the horse ring all week long, and somewhere in the area of 5,000 or 6,000 people sat in those stands. I mean, maybe more. It might have been more than 5,000 or 6,000, but they sat in those stands at one point or another and were facing the announcer booth, and they saw Elmendorf Landscaping on one side of the announcer booth. And actually, for 3 events, our newest pickup truck, along with a 30-foot flagpole and a 6x10 flag, were on the other side of the announcer's booth, all lettered up, cleaned up, and just really looked nice, looked neat. And that's something that you can do without spending a fortune. Again, name recognition. It's something that as we build the business, as we get bigger, I want to be able to take on bigger and bigger projects and larger clients. And I want to go after some commercial clients. So when we go bid, let's say we bid a local store. It doesn't really matter which one it might be, but a large local store, the people in charge of going through the bids and accepting the bids and reviewing the bids will be looking down at all the names and all the bids. And one of the things that, whether they realize it or not, and whether we really realize it or not, one of the things you look at is this a recognizable name? The business doesn't have to go with the lowest bid. They're going to go with the bid that seems to provide the best service and is within a certain price range. So maybe there's a bid for $15,000, one for $18,000, one for $20,000, one for $25,000, and one for $30,000. Well, they're probably not going to go for the $30,000, but they don't have to go with the $15,000. So they tend to go in the middle more. And one of the things that they really want to look at is this a known company, or is it just some startup that nobody knows anything about? So when they've been going to some of these local events, when they see that our business has sponsored all kinds of events at the Ulster County Fair for the last few years, or that we sponsored a family fun day through the fire department, believe it or not, an hour away from us, we got involved in that. And we've got our advertisement now at Olive Day, I think now for the 4th year in a row. That's our town. We hang our banners there at their family fun day, basically. It's a gathering of a celebration, an anniversary of the town. And it's at a local park. We hang our banners there. We wear our shirts there. The truck is always there. And our name goes on the event t-shirt. And our name goes in the calendar. Now, as a small business, it's really, really hard to say, we're going to dedicate a certain amount of money to advertising. But one thing that I've found now that we've built our business up a little bit, it's a whole lot easier to say, you know what, we are going to sponsor this event at the county fair. So we sponsored the garden tractor pull at the Ulster County Fair. And in particular, we sponsored a cash prize for first, second, and third place for the kids' classes. Now, the kids had 2 classes they could pull in. So we sponsored a total of 6 prizes at the Ulster County Fair for the garden tractor pull for the kids. Now, the amount of publicity that we got out of that seemingly small sponsorship, really, because if you take ads out on the radio and on TV, you're spending thousands and thousands of dollars. Whereas these smaller events, you can spend hundreds rather than thousands, and you're getting your name out there to more of a target population, and you really, the people appreciate it more. I've never seen kids as happy as when we handed them the cash that they won from the garden tractor pull. I mean, it made all of us feel good. It made Abby and myself feel good. The kids got prizes. The organizers for the event were happy because they hadn't had cash prizes ever for the kids. So it was a blast all the way around. And actually, the organizers for the event went above and beyond, and they promoted our business for us because they were so thrilled that we were willing to do something like that. So you have to think outside the box a little bit. You don't have to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars on a TV ad or a radio ad. Go local, go right to your own town. Almost every single town around here has some sort of festival or something that they do, whether it's a street fair day, whether it's a farmer's market type festival, whether it's Saugerties over 45 minutes away that does a garlic festival. You have your county fairs. They're always looking for sponsors, especially if you can target the crowds that don't have a lot of money coming in already. So for us, the Ulster County Fair, we made the checks out to the Agricultural Society in the county. Now, they're always looking for money to help promote agriculture. And by taking our money, doing that, we got advertising. We got to help promote the agriculture, basically. So it helps everybody all the way around. Now, again, sponsoring some of these small events will absolutely 100% give you the most bang for your buck. Because if you go to the radio and say, hey, I want to spend $5,000, you're not going to get a lot. So if you go to the town or the fire department, whatever bazaar might be happening, and they have a $5,000 budget for the entire event, and you can write them a $500 check, well, you're providing 10% of what they needed to make back on that event. So that's a huge deal for them versus a radio station who will take the $5,000 and just, give you a couple ads on the radio and maybe not hit your target crowd quite as much. The other thing that's great with name recognition is the local folks that you live in your town with see you doing stuff for local people or for the kids. We were at a party on Saturday and a few people came up to me and said, "Hey, I saw the ads pushed out by one of the organizers at the fair that you folks sponsored the garden tractor pull." They didn't mention any of the other ones, but they mentioned, and what really stuck in their minds was that we sponsored the children at the garden tractor pull. We got so much advertisement out of that one night, 3 hours event, and honestly, we're really looking forward to doing it next year. I had a blast. This is off subject now of our 8 to 38 series, but I had an absolute blast watching the garden tractor pull, at the Ulster County Fair. What a blast. I can't wait to sponsor it again next year. And one of the things that the event organizer actually gave Abby and myself a couple nights later, he printed a picture of us next to the truck. So it was Abby, myself, and Jackson, Katie, Daniel, and Joshua all next to our truck, along with the event organizer and either 5 or 6 of the kids that we sponsored. So all of them were right next to our truck, and they took a big picture, and all the kids who we sponsored signed the frame. So that's going to be hanging in my office. Absolutely loved it. And I don't know if you're watching this or not, Tom, but thank you so much for that. Really, really made our day, and we cannot wait to sponsor again next year. So again, those are a few thoughts on logos and brand recognition. Thank you very much for watching from 8 to 38, the Chronicles of a Young Entrepreneur. If you have any ideas for future episodes, either comment or email us. Our email address is on our main page for the channel. And don't forget to like and share. We are working, once again, a lot of you have heard this, but we're working towards getting 1,000 subscribers, and we hope the channel takes off past that. So we've actually produced 150 videos to date. It might be a little bit past that now because we've been producing some of those really short videos because they're really easy to do on the phone. They're kind of fun to watch, and we've been having fun producing those and producing these longer videos. So again, thank you very much for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and please share.